Hey everybody, what's up? It is Patrick from Magnetic Nerds, and today I finally get my moment to celebrate spooky season. Katora has amassed one hell of a head start. As you can see by the videos closing in all around me. Okay, here too. I wanted to do something outside the realm of your traditional pumpkin, skeleton, things of that nature. So I set forth to the internet and began my research. And as I dug through various articles and 3D files, I found this mechanical spider. It's a 3D print, and I got to thinking, you know what? I can make a really cool story revolve around this mechanical spider. This project kicks off with some quick measurements of wood, followed by some quick cutting of that wood. And that brings us here to these 3 pieces of wood you see. Remember how I said I was going to do something different? Well, this is a part of it. Instead of doing a more, I guess, traditional rectangular shaped book nook, I wanted to do a triangular shape. I really like the idea of a book leaning diagonally against other books, and then a spooky, mysterious creature taking up a residence in that crevice. I was envisioning more of a industrial, steampunk-esque setting, so I did not want plain wooden walls for my book nook. To mimic a concrete slab wall, I started with some foam poster board. I cut down the pieces to size and then glued them onto the wood, and then I scribed in some lines with the tip of my mechanical pencil to recreate the seam lines of a concrete slab. The next thing I needed to do was to really sell the fact that these pieces of foam were concrete. What better way to add a concrete texture than with a concrete paint? Drylock is an amazing tool to help add stone-like texture to all your projects. Now, on to painting. I had to craft my own colors so my little concrete walls both looked and felt the part of stone. Some white, some gray, and a hint of reddish brown gave my walls the perfect base. This is where the weathering process begins, because now I darkened the lowlights, I brightened the highlights, and really gave it that mottled, aged concrete appearance. With my faux concrete slabs looking as much like, well, concrete as I was going to get them, it was now on to the more advanced portion of weathering. I reached into my drawer and pulled out a variety of different pigments and washes and oil brushes, and I just went to town. My goal was to recreate an abandoned factory, so I made sure to include as much dirt and grime as I could. The next phase of this build is to add some details to the book nook. I 3D printed a steel girder, a forge, and the main character of this whole thing, a mechanical steampunk spider. The painting and weathering on the forge and the steel girder were easy and straightforward. A base coat of a steel paint followed by a gamut of rust-colored pigments and oil brushes. forge, got a bit of an added detail in this exhaust pipe, which I crafted out of a styrene tube and some masking tape. And that brings us to the star of my whole book nook, this cute, steampunk-inspired tarantula. Being a mechanical, steampunk-inspired spider, my little friend needed to have an epic metallic finish. Fortunately, I recently stumbled across Turbo Door. They have an amazing array of metallic and color-shifting paints, and their color Afterburner was the perfect color for my 8-legged friend. With all the pieces painted and weathered, it was now time to assemble everything. The girder and the forge got glued into place, some fake spider webbing got spun, and that made the perfect little nest for my spider to perch. Except, in my haste to complete this project, I forgot to look at the settings on my camera. I forgot to take it from manual focus to autofocus. So that's why the whole thing is this blurry mess. A bit of a late addition to this project was the electronics. I stumbled across a spare NeoPixel ring that I had lying around and went, yes! But this was not easy. It took me the better part of 3 days to get everything together for the electronics. Hunting down code, to getting an additional hardware, to wiring, it was quite the challenge. Imagine this. You're walking through an abandoned, derelict factory, doing a little urban exploring. You turn a corner and walk into what would have been some sort of production line for this factory. There was an eerie red flickering light. You smell metal and grease. You become aware of a metal clicking sound. And out of the shadows from around an old forge creeps a giant spider. This is not any spider. This one is made of metal. Its gears clinking as it creeps steadily from the shadows. You're paralyzed with fear. The hulking metal creature creaks and clings to a stop, inches from your face. Its massive golden fangs whining and hissing as the creature rubs them together. Is it friend or is it foe? You stare frightened into its black, cold eyes, and then you get a sense this thing, this giant metal arachnid, isn't here to harm you. But why is it here? Who created this glimmering monster?